What's Right with Nick Wright, a quick reaction show to Lakers Warriors last night as promised. We didn't have a show Tuesday. I was traveling, wanted to do a second episode this week. Lakers Warriors, a potential round 1 preview, a potential round 2 preview, a potential round 3 preview. It delivered because the two guys who have been delivering for this league for a decade continued to deliver. And we will get to the actual game itself. Short of it, Luka's got to be better if the Lakers are going to have a chance to reach their full potential, if they're going to have a chance to win the Western Conference, to give Boston a real run in the NBA Finals, which I think they can do. But Luka's got to play better. And we'll talk about the actual ins and outs of the game in a moment. But that's not actually where I'm focused. I'm focused on an appreciation for LeBron James and Steph Curry and what they have given us as sports fans for the last decade, because it should be impossible. LeBron James and Steph Curry first met in the NBA Finals 9 years and 10 months ago. June of 2015 was our first Steph, LeBron, Cavs, Warriors. And Steph had already had, obviously, a nice career up to that point. That year, he had already won his first MVP. He had had some unbelievable moments becoming a superstar and becoming one of, and then all of a sudden catapulting himself into the discussion for not just one of the best players in the league, but a top 3 player, a top 2 player, briefly flirted with top 1 player in some quarters. And LeBron already had built a top 10 all-time player resume. When these two guys first played in the finals, which was, again, 10 years ago, LeBron had already played 7 years with the Cavs, took them to a finals, left. His entire Heat career had come and gone. Not 5, not 6, not 7. The press conference, the decision, 4 league MVPs, 5 finals appearances, 2 championships. LeBron had already done all of that before he and Steph started this last decade of professional basketball, being the face of the league and the other face of the league being the two guys who set the standard for what not only being a superstar in the NBA ideally would look like, but what being a professional would look like, what being a titan of industry almost would look like. 0 off-court mistakes, 0 controversy. The worst thing Steph ever did his entire career was throw his mouth guard into the front row. The worst thing LeBron ever did his entire career was a maybe preemptive celebratory press conference, the not 5, not 6, not 7. That's it. And for those guys to have delivered for the last 10 years, and last night no different. It's a big day. It's national TV. All eyes are on us. Our co-stars may or may not be available for us. Steph didn't get much from Jimmy. LeBron didn't get much from Luka. It doesn't matter. Steph drops 37. Some very just only Steph shots. LeBron drops 33 on just 15 field goal attempts after not looking quite like LeBron since coming back from the groin injury, but he did last night. Because these guys deliver and they answer the bell unlike any duo we have seen since Magic and Bird. But here's the thing. This is so different than Magic and Bird. Here's why. Magic and Bird, we got them for the first decade of their career, and then it was over. We got them. Steph and LeBron got going when Steph was half a decade in and when LeBron was a dozen years in, and they're still going. Magic and Bird, as great as they are not cumulatively really close to the duo that LeBron and Steph have been. Some people argue Steph's better than Magic. I won't go that far, but he's at least within shouting distance of him. So if some argue Steph's better than Magic, I think Magic's better than Steph, but call that a wash. LeBron versus Bird is a bunch of 10-8 rounds. And for us to be getting these guys doing this, when for LeBron, the entirety of the rivalry should have been when he's past his prime. For Steph, the last half of the rivalry should have been when he's past his prime. It's just remarkable. And I think because of LeBron and Steph, and also to his credit, Kevin Durant, people have forgotten that this has never happened in NBA history. Guys this age, forget LeBron being 40. Let's pretend LeBron's 37 like Steph is. This age playing at this level. Complete list, NBA history of people who after their age 35 season have averaged 23 plus a game. That list is 5 people long. And 2 of those people joined that group this year. It is Karl Malone, Kareem in 86, Kevin Durant this year, Steph Curry this year, and LeBron James each of the last 5 years. That's the list. Steph Curry's 37 years old. LeBron is 40 years old. The late, great Kobe Bryant played in his final career playoff game at age 33. Michael Jordan played his final game with the Bulls at age 36. Larry Bird won 1 playoff series, 1, after age 31. Think about that. And now you have Steph at 37 and LeBron at 40. As right now, the most reliable players, in Steph's case, undeniably the best player on his team. In LeBron's case, Luka should be the best, but LeBron's right now the most reliable. On legitimate contenders. On the teams with what? The 3rd and 5th or 4th and 5th or 4th and 3rd best odds to win the championship. It was utterly remarkable when Kareem in 1986 gave us one more all-time year. And it was really, really special when Karl Malone in the lockout-shortened season in 99-2000 at age 36 gave us one more great year. Steph, at the beginning of this season, it looked like, okay, most guys remember they peak at 27, hold on to that peak for a few years, and then slowly slow downward tick. And at the beginning of this year, when he was averaging 22 a game, when he had a couple single-digit point games, you were, okay, he's to a different place, which he should be. They had that amazing, these two guys had that amazing Olympic moment together. LeBron carrying the team through the first few rounds. Steph having the brilliant gold medal game performance. Like that maybe was for Steph and LeBron their final time playing for real stakes, championship stakes, and they got to do it together. And then now there's the Jimmy trade, there's the Luka trade. Steph, post-Jimmy trade, has been almost vintage Steph. LeBron just came off a pre-groin injury, winning Western Conference Player of the Month. There's still not 3 guys in the league that you could say you definitively would rather have than either of these 2 guys in a gotta have it spot. And them doing this now, 2015 is when it started. It's 2025. For this to be going on, its 11th season is incomprehensible. For the 73-win Warriors, and then the greatest 3-game stretch in the history of the sport by LeBron, for these finals to be the 10th finals we've had since then and these guys are fighting to play in that one. It's just an impossibility. And so I just have a deep and profound appreciation for these guys. Finals are here, and the only thing for sure is it's the last time you're going to have a chance to bet on college basketball this season. It's been an amazing ride to get here, an unprecedented run to this point with 4 of the 4 best teams, including 4 of the best teams in recent college basketball history getting there. Maybe there will finally be a shocking outcome, or maybe we're just going to keep seeing the best show you why they're the best. More on that in a second. Get in on all the action, expected and unexpected, with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. Ready to make your first bet? Check out the matchups and pick a team to win. It's that simple. Me personally, you guys know I was in on Tennessee. It didn't work out. Now we pivot. We pivot. Thus far, this has been a tournament where the best team wins. The best team is Duke. I personally like Duke minus 5.5 tonight at even money. Not tonight, this weekend. I also personally like Duke to win the championship at even money. So Duke minus 5.5 in their game on Saturday at even money. Duke plus 100 to win the whole thing at even money. Better late than never. It's what I'm going with now that Tennessee's gone. Lines and odds subject to change. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code WRIGHT. That's code WRIGHT for new customers, WRIGHT, to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. Ja last night hit a game winner, and then he did the post-game interview and called someone a pigeon, and it is very, very hard for me not to juxtapose how LeBron and Steph have carried this torch and have had more scrutiny, in LeBron's case, more pressure than anyone could possibly imagine, and never stepped out of line, and never embarrassed the league, and never had an incident. and not be frustrated by some of the, and I know I sound like an old guy, and it's because I'm older than Steph and I'm the exact same age as LeBron. I guess I am an old guy. And not be frustrated by some of the nonsense by the guys, not all, but a lot of the guys who have come after them. Because you had the blueprint. And not only did you have the blueprint, you are getting to see it in real time because these guys won't stop being great. And it was just awesome to watch last night. For the seemingly 75th time, these two legends trading haymakers. Now, to the actual game itself, it's not all that complex on the Lakers' end. Really interesting Austin Reeves game. Awesome the first 3 minutes. Unbelievable the final quarter. And not much else. But finishes with 31 on 16 shots. LeBron was, I think, hoping Luka would get going early. LeBron, 0 first quarter points. Saw Luka didn't have it. Finishes with 33, 5, and 9. But it wasn't going to matter, even though Jimmy didn't really do much of anything offensively, because you are not going to beat the Warriors on a night Pods and Draymond combine for 10 threes on 14 attempts. That, you're not beating them. And Draymond was doing all types of Draymond stuff for good or for bad. He had the wonderful strip on Luka late. And Pods was just out of his mind the first half of the game. When that happens, and Luka's not Luka, you're going to lose. It was insane. The Lakers had not really a chance to steal it, but a chance to have a chance at stealing it late. I am fully and entirely confident that Luka, come the postseason, will be playoff Luka because that's all he's ever been. But last night was a game that I thought, because of the stakes of it, because they had had a couple days off, that we'd see great Luka, and we saw far from it. And so Lakers win the season series on the Warriors 3-1. So they do still have that tiebreaker, and that could really matter because it's now 45-31 for the Warriors, 46-30 for the Lakers. You wonder what the Warriors will look like tonight as they host Denver. Denver having had a night off after a couple brutal losses. And the Warriors the rest of the way, they've got the next two are tough, and then a nice soft landing until the final game of the year. So the Warriors home for Denver, home for the Rockets, at Phoenix, home for San Antonio, at Portland, home for the Clippers. You would think in those 6 games that 4-2 is a fair result for them. So that would put them at 49 wins. The Lakers, on the other hand, they're a tough one to figure because they seemingly play their worst against bad teams. But the Lakers, New Orleans, then at OKC, at Dallas in what should be absolute theater. It is a shame that game is the second night of a back-to-back, but if I were running the Lakers rotations, just me personally, you got to win tonight against New Orleans. I would go for it Sunday against the Thunder, and then I would give everybody the night off on the front end of a back-to-back Tuesday against the Thunder. Punt that one, because that Dallas game is going to mean a lot to Luka, and it's also obviously the far more winnable spot of your back-to-back. And then after that, home for Houston, which is a huge one, and then at Portland, the final game of the year. If they win tonight, it is very, very difficult for me to see how the Warriors could possibly catch them. They win tonight, they get to 47. The Portland win has to be a win. The Portland game, I should say, because Portland's not even going to, it's the game 82. They're not even going to want to win. Portland's going to play, Portland's going to want the draft position. So that puts you at 48 wins. And then you just need one. If I'm right that the Warriors are going to go 4-2, now I could be wrong. You would just need one of OKC, Dallas, Houston. So Western Conference standings, if the playoffs were to start today, we'd get Warriors, Lakers in round one. Gosh, that's a series that would be a bummer to have in round one. If I could set the bracket, I would. It's very, very difficult to get them to where they could play in round two is, I guess, the problem. It would have to be, well, you know what? There's no way to do this because the Rockets are at 27 losses. They're in good shape, but man, oh man, Rockets final 5 games. OKC, Golden State, Clippers, Lakers, Denver. So we'll see what the Rockets do over their final 5. But the Rockets have obviously a big cushion. They're at 27. Nuggets and Lakers at 30. Losses this is. Warriors at 31. And then Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Clippers at 32. So Lakers, Warriors, Nuggets, they're all just starting from right now. A 2-game losing streak from potentially being right in the play-in. And so for the Lakers' purposes, you would love a bracket that goes OKC 1, Houston 2, Lakers 3, Denver, Golden State 4-5, Memphis 6, Timberwolves 7, Clippers 8, or vice versa. That's the ideal bracket for the Lakers. The ideal bracket for the Warriors is the exact one I just said. You just flip the Lakers and the Warriors. I think it's going to be really hard for the Warriors, though, to catch the Lakers unless they can go 5-1 or better in their last 6. And with the fact that I would be surprised if Steph plays tonight. I think maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I wonder what the line is for that game. What do our friends at DraftKings? DraftKings has Denver favored by 1.5 in Golden State, I think. I'm going to double check that. If that's the case, then DraftKings is telling us they're not sure Steph is playing either. I'm not sure Steph is playing. And obviously, that's kind of in the middle. If Steph doesn't play, it'd be Denver by more than that. But if Steph does play and the Warriors are fully healthy, I don't think they would be dogs at home. So it should be a wild final 10 days. But I am just so incredibly appreciative that if Steph and LeBron were done as top of the league competitors fighting for championships after the 4 straight finals, that would have been totally reasonable. Instead of that, we're now going on 7 more seasons of it. They've both won a championship since, and they're fighting for one this year. Never seen anything like it. See you guys on Tuesday for the next episode of What's Right. It'll be a regular episode. DeMonze will be back, all of that. See you guys later today, depending on when you watch this on First Things First. Have a great weekend. What's Right.